Alright, first match with this matchup. And, oof. Well, to be fair, we're acting as though I don't know what the matchup is, as you would in any real playtesting situation. So, I would keep this hand normally. It's not an exciting hand, definitely not. But yeah, I would keep it. A lot of people wouldn't keep this though. But since we have all the mana we'll need, we have a Township as well, and we have an Accelerant, and then we have something to do once we get to 5 mana. I think it's worth keeping. Almost any card we draw here is live. A lot of people just see this as a 5 or basically a 6-lander and a 5-drop, so they'd mulligan it. But I think since it has everything we want, except for a couple spells, I think it's worth keeping. So currently, I'm assuming he's playing Delver. This would insinuate Esper Delver, but whoops. So I top decked Geist, not bad. I could have top decked any 3-drop or Zenith as well, or Pod. So that's actually most of the deck. Well, most of the spells. And from here I could now draw Huntmaster, or any of those other cards. Also Angel. Pretty much everything is live, except for more land. Okay, takes out my 1-drop. And now I would assume he's not playing Delver anymore. Yeah, having drawn a second Geist is pretty nice. And another spell. So next turn I'm going to be able to attack for a good amount after I eliminate his Golem token. It can be tricky in a situation like this, because I could just Township, but that, like, it looks like a good play, but it also turns these off. I think he might have missed a land drop too. Yeah, he definitely did. Yeah, he shuffled on the Ponder, missed his land drop. So that's tough, because now I would love to just attack with this after playing my land, and then if he takes it, I would slime his coast. But is that I don't know if that's good enough. Yeah, I already have Day of Judgment Insurance, so I might as well just play the slime on the Golem and attack for a ton of damage. And that would be 6 damage. And I do happen to know he's not playing Day of Judgment, but he very well could be, normally. Okay, he took it. Not sure what that indicates, actually, because if he had an image, he could still block and then image that. Yeah, this game the deck pretty much just functioned as a green-white aggro deck, and I mean I kept a pretty poor hand and drew out of it very well. Not exactly the typical. So 3 blockers, he would have to take at least 3 damage. If he had Go for Throat or Doomblade, he would survive at 1. If I played this, block, 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 he would still die. Clearly correct. And from his point of view, I look pretty lucky. Obviously, I was pretty lucky to begin with. So, from what I saw, boarding for this matchup is going to be pretty hard. It's probably hard enough in the first place, but boarding from just what I saw is going to be even harder. I didn't have a plan set up before I started recording, and that's so that I could do this on the fly. So I saw Image and Blade Splicer, so that's probably good enough reason to bring in Grudge. Not quite enough reason to bring in Arc Trail. Daybreak. If I thought he was playing Delvers, I would think I would bring that in. And do I think that? You know, there's versions of Delver that play black for Go for the Throat and stuff like that, and there's versions that don't play Delver. I'm going to opt against it. That's what I feel like I would do normally, because the Delver decks that do play Delver are less than the ones that don't, that also look like that deck. Inferno Titan, though, seems like it might be pretty good. Like, it's one of the only ways I can actually get a pretty big advantage on board. Silverheart's definitely a no. Corruptor's a no. Spider, like same thing with Daybreak, really. Until I see Delver, that can't really come in. I can assume he has Restoration Angel, though. And then the conscripts only come in if I think he has numerous Sun Titans or Planeswalkers. And without seeing any, once again, it's pretty hard to make that jump. And what would I even cut here? The slime would get cut until I see an O-ring, I think, because I have no idea how many O-rings he'd be playing. But I can assume he has some, after board especially, I think. So, might want to keep that in. It's a good way to get Pod back from an O-ring. Fiend Hunter, still good. It's good at removing a Golem, because then you can sack it to the Pod. Well, the Zeniths really aren't that exciting in the first place in this deck, so I guess I'll just trim those. Yeah, I'll keep it. Just a 1-drop short of being a pretty strong hand. Oof, this could be bad for me. It's also pretty bad for me. And now I'm just doing horribly. I would not really like to block here, despite the fact that I'm not going to want to race. Well, I guess technically I could. Pod is going to eat up some of my life, but the Splicer is also going to prevent some damage, so... Yeah, I guess eating his clone recursion is actually not so bad, though. And right here, specifically, I should have probably played around Angel. So, that was definitely not the correct attack. If he Angels here, then his image dies, comes back as an angel, and he blocks, and then he has 7 power. It's not a bad play at all. And I can obviously assume he doesn't have an angel now. And now I think I'm just too far behind in this game. Way too far behind. Could I possibly conscripts for the win though? Possibly. Currently, well, I'm a few lands short, but I do have a pretty massive amount of damage available to me. He could also just assassinate my Pilgrim. Not this turn, but before I can ever cast conscripts. Or he could just kill me too. Yeah, while I'm stumbling, it doesn't really hurt to try and kill me. So I can... Yeah, I'm pretty much dead, but I'm gonna keep fighting. I'm gonna have a splicer to block. Okay. That'll do it. Okay, game 3. I've seen a Gideon now. So I probably want another copy of this card. You know, Inferno Titan is not so good. Now that I've seen both Go for the Throw and Doomblade, and Inferno Titan is looking pretty bad now. Still, that's the only things I've seen though, so this will have to do it. Well, it's actually a little bit better than my last hand, so I'll keep it. My last hand I would keep again pretty fast, but especially on the draw. I mean, missing my third land drop that many times is kind of not something you plan for. Okay, I will play around Leak, of course. So playing Angel here would be really good for me, but I could also pod. But is podding better than playing Angel? I don't think it is, actually. And for that reason, I should also not attack, because it would most likely get him to double block, and then I would lose value. He didn't even have a Doomblade. Wouldn't have mattered too much, but it would have been better than not having one. Leaving all 4 mana open. So he could have flashback Lingering Souls, but he chose not to, so it's possible he still has a Doomblade and just read me for Restoration Angel. Yeah. I still got some pretty good value out of that. And now I can, and I guess he doesn't have a Leak either, so now I can attack for 5. I guess just play Blade Splicer. It depends on how I want to play around Wrath Effect here. Actually, I might just be better off getting Geist. Though that doesn't actually play around a Wrath Effect because he would just block the Geist with the Spirit. But at least I could then untap and have some action. with the pod in play. So I think I will do that. Or I could just do the same thing without attacking with the Geist. I think I kind of like that play, actually. It still advances my board state, and then even if he does have a Wrath, I have a two mana cost creature that I can sack to get a Ranger with. And then I can play Blade Splicer. Huh, Darkslick Shores. Okay. I would assume he drew that this turn, which doesn't give me a lot of information really, but it gives me something. Because if he had that last turn, he would have rather played that than an untapped land that doesn't bluff. He can't bluff Leak because he threw away his bluff when he played Go for the Throat. So he drew that. Does no real significance though. Just drew Township. Still want to play around Wrath, I think. Actually, this is interesting. He didn't flashback Lingering Souls again, so he could have Restoration Angel. And I have no real way of playing around that, I think. So I'm just gonna... Well, I should pod first anyway. Yeah, I think the podding first is my correct play. I don't really want to extend another creature, so I'm going to go ahead and pay green mana. So if he has a Restoration Angel, he will now... Yeah, I do want another land though. I need to be able to Township. And that land is going to be a forest. I should have done this before I played this, for sure. But I thought I was going to be able to activate this turn because of my Pilgrim that I had last turn. Forgot it was dead. So if he has Angel that I think he does have, okay, that makes sense too. If he had Angel, I would lose this, but that's fine. Instead, I lose this and the Angel. And yeah, I think the play I made was still okay. I suppose I should be able to put him on Snapcaster as well. But that was a card I hadn't seen. I hadn't seen Angel yet either, so either one should have been on my radar. And this one being on my radar means that I should have paid 2 life so that I could play this post-combat. And okay, +2. So he's not dead, but I can deal him a good amount of damage. Because by getting conscripts, but then he will block the Gideon and take 8. Still very correct for me. I lose out on a blink here for a free land. Maybe it's not correct. Well, his Gideon will survive if even if I Township, if he blocks. What are my other 4-drops here? Huntmaster, obviously. Metamorph isn't very good. 2-drops, just Geist. Yeah, so it's either Conscripts is really the only card I want to pod for. And if I don't pod, I just activate Township. And he did miss a land drop too. If that matters for anything. Put him at 3. Put him at 3 with tons of power in play. The ability to get a Geist from my bird. But he'll still have a Gideon. And I have no 6-drop. And I do have another Conscripts, but I wouldn't be able to search for it next turn. Oh, but I could get a Metamorph. Okay, that's fine then. I'll go with that play. I have to play this first. Could put him at 5 to get an extra land. Not worth it. If he were to assassinate Conscripts, he would have to have... Well, he has Lingering Souls, but I could still beat that. He has to have something else, too. Oh, he did do it. Well, the play I could make is on board, so it's correct for him to play around it if he can. It's on board, but it does take some intuition. 4/1/1s. Wish I had a Hero of Oxid Ridge. Actually, Hero of Oxid Ridge and Hero of Bladehold. Those are actually 2 cards that I neglected to sideboard. Could definitely be boarding at least one of each, probably multiple Bladeholds, but 1 Oxid Ridge would be really nice. And the fact that it costs double red is fixed because you have Cavern of Souls on human. Okay, what do I do here then? I think I just attack with everything. Then, actually, I'm gonna leave this guy back. This is a little risky because he might want to kill my Borderland even through the Gavony Township, because that'll prevent me from getting a Huntmaster. Yeah, that's what he's doing. But by doing so, it means I don't have to activate Township at all. And I can still get a Huntmaster, but I won't be able to flip it. I could also get this. Not quite as good here. And I can't play Bird. There's actually no way I could play Bird unless I don't know, I guess I could have left this Forest untapped. Yeah, tapping this card sooner is definitely correct. I'm still treating it like a colored source when it's basically just a colorless source. So getting Huntmaster here lets me get Conscripts next turn, which very easily should win. Shuffled. Four mana open, doesn't flashback Lingering Souls. So, has to be Restoration Angel. I think that's that or double Doomblade. Neither one of those saves him, so quite a simple play. Alright, so won the first one. Let's do that again.